This lesson is about creating charts on Google Looker Studio and how to analyze data with them. In this lesson, I will show you how to analyze data and how to use specific charts and when. So I will start, I will create a new Google Looker Studio report, and I will connect a data source. The most common one I will say is Google Analytics, so I will connect Google Analytics data. You already know how to connect your data. If not, you can go to the specific tutorial on connecting your data on Google Looker Studio. So here, I will add a new chart, and the most common type of chart that we will use is scorecards. I will say a scorecard is the general, the basic one, which is simply displaying a metric. So I will paste the scorecard here, and now I can change the number I want to visualize or the metric. So instead of views, I will do sessions, and now we are done with the scorecards. Whenever or always that you create a report, most of the times you will start with a scorecard, because the first thing I want to know is the what, and this is the best way to describe what is happening. All the other charts like pie charts, bar charts, time series describe the how or maybe the why. That's why this is the most general one that you will use. So here I will add a new one, which is a table, and I will drop it right here. And what makes tables special is that I will say they are the most useful way to visualize your data and the most generic one, because you can add as many dimensions and metrics as you like. With time series, you can only choose a handful of metrics. With tables, you can use all your metrics, and to me, tables are the best way to say multiple stories. It's not the most visual way to do it, but I will say it is the most complete. That's why many users still use Google Sheets to visualize or to analyze their data, because it is simply useful, it simply works. So here I have a table. Now I will do some changes. Instead of event name, I will display, for instance, the full page URL. And now I am breaking down my traffic by page URL. So here I can know what pages are the most important ones or the ones that bring more traffic to my website. I will create a new type of chart. So I will go to add a chart, and now I will do time series. What I love about time series, after scorecards and tables, I will say this is the most common one, because it is very common that we want to see data over time. So I want to see my data and break it down by date, or I can change by week or by month or whatever I want. So I will click here on dimension, and instead of date, I will choose week. And now you see that you can break down your data over time. I think that time series are very helpful to see the evolution over time, to find patterns, to find trends, especially in marketing. If you want to see if you are growing or not, if the campaigns that you are doing are working, I think that time series are the best way to spot those insights. That's why, to me, in general, all the marketing reports can miss anything but scorecards, tables, and time series. To me, these are the most important visualizations that you can create. Now I will go with bar charts. And bar charts are another way to break down your data. If you ask me, bar charts are like tables, but to display less data more visually. So for instance, I will use bar charts like gender to break down my data, and now I can see my traffic by gender. But I wouldn't say this is the best use case for bar charts. To me, bar charts are great when I want to display ordinal data versus cardinal data. Oh my God, what is that? That was so nerdy. Ordinal data, I don't know actually if that's the name in English, by the way, this is the translation in Spanish, but it's data that has an order. For instance, the days of the week have an order: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. But gender doesn't have an order. You can display it however you want. The source of acquisition of your traffic doesn't have an order. Google doesn't come after Facebook, for instance, but age groups, age groups or days of week have an order. That's why bar charts to me are better for data whose values have an order that you can use to break down your data. Very similar to bar charts is pie charts. And to be honest, pie charts are one of the worst ways to visualize your data, because you will lack a lot of context. You won't see, for instance, if the data is evolving over time. Even though they look very good, I will accept it. You will look very smart if you use them. I wouldn't say they are the best one. However, to me, they have the same use case as bar charts, but the data might be cardinal without an order. So in this chart, instead of gender, I could use source, so I can display and can break down my data, and I can see what source is bringing more traffic to my website, and it looks great. So to me, these are the most common ones. Let's see other types of charts on Google Looker Studio. So I will go to add a new page. I want to add more charts, but not in this page. So add a page, And now I will go to add a chart. And the next chart is a map. I think this is very useful, and of course it is for geographical data. I will paste it right here. Google Looker Studio offers different types of charts, one that is a graphical, more simple way, and also you can embed a Google Maps. This is actually a Google Maps. And as you can see, I can only display geographical data. So if your data, you have cities, regions, zip codes with specific locations, this will work and you can display geographical data here. What data I can visualize? The dimensions, or every point is a specific value, a specific city, for instance, or a specific country. But you can add multiple metrics in a single map because I can change the size of the bubbles and the colors of the bubbles. So actually you can add multiple metrics and visualize multiple metrics with maps. So here, this is an example of a map, and you can see, for instance, that this is actual data from Metrics. I can see that we have traffic everywhere in the world. That's fantastic. Except for Russia, but for obvious reasons. Now, I will use a new type of chart that is called a double axis chart. So I will paste it right here. And a double axis chart is very similar to a bar chart, but I can combine multiple metrics or dimensions. So here, I will add the dimension category, device category. So I want to break down my traffic data by device. So I want to see what brings more traffic to my website. Of course, it's desktop. So I want to visualize desktop, mobile, and if someone ever uses a smart TV to use Google Looker Studio. That doesn't happen. And I can use two metrics. That's why it is called double axis chart, because I can find correlations between metrics. So this correlation is obvious. The more sessions I have, the more conversions I have. But I could create some metrics that don't have a relation, and that to me will be insightful. For instance, hey, the more sessions I have on a website, on a specific page, or on a specific device, the less time per session I have. That correlation doesn't exist, but this is an example. The more something happens, the less something happens. But in this case, with sessions and conversions, I don't think I will find this example. What is interesting, at least I know that my traffic is relevant, because the more sessions I have, also the more conversions I have as well. Maybe there is an obvious relation there. Now, I will go to add a chart, and I will go with an area chart. And to me, this one is beautiful because this one combines the context of breaking down your data with bar charts or pie charts, and also a context of over time with dates. So it is the combination of a time series and a pie chart. And I will show you an example of this thing. So I will use session source to analyze the data. With this chart, I can see over time how my traffic is evolving. So I know that my traffic is steady every week, that on weekends we don't have traffic. And Google is the most important traffic source for our website. But something important is that there is a purple area there, and that's LinkedIn. So it says that on April, we used to have a lot of traffic on LinkedIn, and now we don't have it. And this makes sense because in the latest days, I haven't published on LinkedIn. So this is useful because I can see more context over time. I'm breaking down my data by a specific dimension. Now, let's see another example. Actually, I will show you. I actually added the analysis here. We can see that, for instance, LinkedIn used to be more representative on April. I will create a new page, and I will show you one of the least common charts that you will use, but that will make you look very smart, which is the scatter plot. And to me, it is actually very, very useful, not for general dashboards, but for data analysis. So I will use a scatter plot. And a scatter plot let us compare and find relations between 2 or 3 metrics. So here I will drop a screenshot, and every point will be the value of a dimension. So in this case, I will do it with page URL. I want to see all the pages of my website in this chart. And the metrics that I will correlate are sessions, 1, and sessions per user. So here I have. This is a misconception of scatter plots. People think that they are only for finding correlations. And I don't think there is any correlation between sessions per user and sessions. The more sessions I have, the less sessions per user I have. It doesn't make sense. The other use case for me is finding patterns and finding clusters, finding where most of the pages are and where there are outliers. And this is an example. For instance, I can quickly notice that most of our website pages have less than 1,000 visits. And most of our website pages have on average one visit per session. But we have some outliers. For instance, this page is the most popular one. It has a lot of traffic, but only one visit per session. And it is our app, our homepage of the app. It makes sense. And also, I have this outlier that is very valuable because this page has a lot of traffic and people on average visit it twice per session. So this page is very important. With this, I can find insights to find my most valuable pages on the website by traffic and also by engagement. Now, this is an example. For instance, this is also one of the pages of our app. So I can see that our users are more intensively using this page. And if I want to do some change, maybe I should start here. Or if I want to add a pop-up to be more visible, maybe I need to add something here because people stay longer or they visit more this page and many visits come to this page as well. This is a very good insight. Actually, we have another tutorial on how to analyze your social media performance. And we use scatter plots to find our best performing posts by comparing engagements and impressions, because sometimes social media posts have a lot of engagements but not that many impressions, or they have a lot of visibility but people don't engage with these posts. So if I compare both, I can see what are the best performing posts, and the best performing posts are the ones that are better than the average on both impressions or visibility and engagement. This was another example, by the way. Now I will show you a final type of visualization. So I will go to page, I will go to add a new page, I will go to add a chart, and now I will create a tree map. And tree maps to me are very useful because they allow us as well to break down our data, but into levels, or 3 levels or more. And I will explain that concept better. So here, I will break down my data by medium. So mediums are the way to categorize where our traffic comes from. So traffic comes from social media, or Google, or PPC. So that's the general dimension. But there is also source, and source is included in medium. For instance, medium is social media, but source is Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. They are values within or inside the medium social media. Or for instance, the medium is PPC. Okay, the sources or the values of the source for PPC could be Facebook ads, Google ads, and so on. So the good thing about tree maps is that I can include multiple dimensions in cascade that are grouping one dimensions in another dimension. Another example is, hey, I want to break down my data by device, and within device, I want to break down my data by brand. So I can break down by mobile and desktop, and I can break down on mobile by brand. So I have Samsung and I have Apple, for instance. That's why tree maps are very useful. I can break down my data in multiple levels with multiple dimensions. And with this class, I hope that you have understood how a little bit more about how to create charts on Google Looker Studio and how to analyze data with them.